Good morning, traders. Welcome to the live trading room. I hope you are all doing great. Right, as you know, this is the live trading room session where we're looking for trade setups in the afternoons, still mornings in some part of the world. Then we have the technical analysis of specific groups of pairs. So far, I believe we've had the US dollar pairs and we've had the yen pairs. So you will have another group of pairs this afternoon. So the idea is for us to have a detailed analysis on all groups of pairs each week. And as I've said, they will be posted here, where you will find the group pairs will be posted under the members area, where you will find the specific pairs. So for example, if it is a Euro US dollar, let's have a look here. If it's Euro US, if it's a US dollar pairs analysis, the video will be up here. It should be posted. It should be done by today. So you will have a video here for that specific week. So that video will stay here for a week until the next one is done. So you'll have a video detailing the analysis on this. Okay, so that is the idea with that. Then don't forget to check out, follow us on Twitter, so that when we update the charts, we'll be posting up on Twitter that a certain group of pairs have been updated. 1 hour charts on the US dollar pairs have been updated, 4 hour charts daily, weekly, and so forth. So follow us on our page on Twitter, and the Twitter page, let me just make sure. Let me just make sure that I've got the right page here. Or you can just go straight to the link on the website. That is our Twitter page. And the handle there, let's just see if I can see the handle. That is the handle. Or you can just go to YouTube. You can just go to our YouTube page and click the link directly. So if you haven't already done so, please follow us here. Whenever the charts are updated, for example, if the 1 hour charts on the Euro US dollar, they're not going to be updated all at the same time. Okay, so they're not all going to be updated on the same time. So you just follow here on Twitter. If the 1 hour charts are updated, you'll get notified here. So you can even put in a notification for our handle so that whenever we post, you get notified so that you don't miss the updates. If there's a trade setup posted, we'll post it up here. Not only here on Solos on our Facebook page, but you can also get the Facebook page on the YouTube channel under the description. I just don't want to go to the Facebook page right now. But this is if you are here, you should have all the information. Any notifications, notices that you need will be here. All right. All right, guys. So let's get started. Thank you so much, Peter. So we're trying to make this service as your experience here as seamless as possible, so that it can be worth your money as well. So now you see why you pay for the service. So we've got back office staff that is busy working on this, that are updating this on a daily basis. So they need to get paid. So that's why you also need to pay for the service. Right, so let's get started with our analysis. Pound yen, not pound yen, pound New Zealand. Let's start with pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand. Let's have a look at pound New Zealand. So look for a sell setup on pound New Zealand. Any sell setup, remember this one we saw on Monday has already started the drop. We're currently getting another one. On the 4 hour, there's no setup, but there seems to be one on the 1 hour. We want a decent correction here for this to continue to the downside. Now, if you get an entry here, as much as we are focusing all the way down to these levels, when you get to the lower boundary here, you should take some profits, because the market does not move on a straight line. So you can get a bounce. You may get another entry around here, either around here or just below, but we will see when you get to that level. So if you're getting a setup here, we must first get a setup. We don't just enter, get a continuation pattern for the downside. Okay, we're already in here, as you've seen here, as you've seen with the on Monday with this flag. And what I mentioned also, look out on your charts. There are blue boxes. Those blue boxes are trading areas. So if we put a blue box, that means we are selling in the blue box. If we're coming here and then you see that there's a blue box somewhere around here, that means we are continuing to sell the sequence until we get to our target. So you may find that so you don't have to wait for us to say, take the trade, because I mean, the live trading room is only an hour. Actually 30 minutes now, because we've got 2 sessions. So we are not always going to be on the screen. So you need to know when to execute, even if we are not on the screen. Those that have attended the course will know will understand the blue box, as well as how to trade with the stock and the RSI. Okay. Otherwise, if you can also just look at the charts on the website. The charts, we are updating them as frequently as possible, as frequently as there are any changes. So now this is pound New Zealand. Seems like we've got a setup on the 1 hour. Let's have a look on the 1 hour. 1 hour is not aggressive though. It's not an aggressive push, but this is a flag on the 1 hour. It has already confirmed continuation to the downside. Right, so we may get a bit of a pullback here and then downside, but that has confirmed continuation to the downside. If you haven't already taken this, you can take this, put your stop loss just around this area. Okay, about 96.50, about 100 pip stop. It's not too much, considering that your target is about, let's have a look at the target on this one. Considering that the target is about 394 pips. So the risk to reward ratio is 1 to 4 here. The risk to reward ratio is 1 to 4. Let's have a look here. If the entry is here and you're targeting here, the risk to reward ratio will be around here. Your stop loss will be around here at 96.50, above the flag. So 2.7 already, even if you put it further than that. But wait for the, you can actually take it on the 1 hour. The 1 hour is already confirmed. Maybe give it a bit of a sizable stop here. Give it 110 pip stop on this one. Right, so that is pound New Zealand. Let's go back to Aussie US dollar that we discussed yesterday. Has not dropped as we expected. This is the Aussie US dollar trade. Still in play though, nothing has changed. We're looking at this as a flag. We'll go look at it on the 1 hour. So we are still looking for this one to drop down to about 74. Okay, so we're already in the trade because it confirmed yesterday. Now 1 hour, let's see if there's another confirmation on the 1 hour. The 1 hour is giving us another setup, so it's confirming that we are looking for downside, although it is now not as fast as it looked yesterday. We were looking for just a straight move down here to the blue box. But the 1 hour, we stay at the top here. It looks like we're going to dip below 50 again. We'll be looking for this one to do that, and that will look for this to do that. Okay, so that is what we're still looking for on Aussie US dollar. Nothing has changed there. New Zealand will be similar. New Zealand has made a push to the upside. You can actually execute this now. Right, remember we do this with a flag, but if you're looking at this and the sequence, this looks like a 3-wave corrective structure here. This looks like a 3-wave corrective structure, and we are looking for this one to come to the downside. If this current candle closes here, we're looking for downside. It has actually just closed, has it? No, if this current candle closes here, we're looking for downside. This looks like a 3-wave pullback. Then we'll look for this one to continue to the downside. So you can choose between Aussie US dollar and the New Zealand US dollar. They are both the same trade setups. This just needs to dip below 50 to confirm. Okay, so we've had a push to the upside. We didn't quite get the sideways correction we were looking for, but it doesn't make any difference. This should still continue to the downside. Not as fast as we wanted it to. US dollars are, it's just showing us continuation to the downside here. This was the trade setup here. This one staying below 50, still continuing to the downside. all the way up to around 14. This is why. This is why we're looking for US dollar ZAR to do that. This is not a trade setup. If you wanted a trade setup, it was here. From there hasn't been any new trade setup on US dollar ZAR. Wasn't actually done with pound New Zealand. Let's just go back to pound New Zealand one more time so you can see where that forecast came from. The forecast on pound in New Zealand, I've shown yesterday as well, comes from this structure. We're looking for a drop from here. This is your three waves as follows. You've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3, you've got the blue box there on the daily. Just want to show this one again, and so that we can look at pound Audi as well. And we're looking for this one to drop like that. Okay, so from the blue box, not a peep lower, not a peep higher, right on the blue box at the 100% has started the drop. So will it continue? We will see if it gets down to around this level. Around this level is already 400 pips, so that will be that's already a good move even before the break. So we can break here. So we won't take it all in one trade. If we're getting the trade right here, we're gonna take some profits on the boundary. We'll look for this one to give us a retracement. Then we'll look for another leg to around this level. If it breaks lower here, we'll look for another leg to the downside because this move is still pushing to the downside. The trend is still downside here. The trend is still downside. We may even, no, we're not, I wanted to make a case of a running flat. It is not a running flat. This looks like it has broken significantly lower. So with a running flat, we prefer this to break by only 105. It's already confirmed, 105 to 138. Let's see if that is still valid. Let's confirm with the fib. With the fib retracement. Fib retracement, let's check here. So what we do here is we take it from here to here, like that. Now, if this is a running flat, this needs to be, it's actually a perfect running flat. If this is a running flat, according to the rules and the guidelines, those that have attended the course, you'll know, between 105 and 138, that is where we expect our B to be, or X, depending on the structure, A, B, and the C. Okay, so this complies to the guidelines. So we're looking for this one to make a running flat here and then continue to the downside. So what structure will this be? If you switch off everything and switch off the mess there, you will see that the structure is very clear as follows. We have got 3 waves coming down here as follows. These are the 3 waves. Then we've got a 3-wave pullback. Then we're looking for another 3 waves to the downside. So that's why I'm saying whenever you get a pullback, you should take the profits and re-enter the trade again. So what we are looking for is a structure like this. So that's what we're looking at on pound New Zealand. That is your running flat. If it starts playing out and then we start getting the drop, we'll be looking for this to the downside. Right, pound Audi, similar. It's actually a very nice corrective structure here on pound Audi. We have been tracking it. It looks like a nice flag right now, right? But when we have been tracking it on the 4-hour, it looked like a big move, but it is still a big move. Takes a couple of days. So what is the structure here? The structure is this and this. Right on the blue box, same as pound New Zealand. We're looking for this one to continue to the downside. Now, if you didn't take this one and you get another confirmation here, you can start looking for a downside, because just like pound New Zealand, we are expecting this to go around this level and push even lower. So if you get a trade set up around these levels, current levels actually, you'll be looking for this to continue around these levels. Let's go to the lower degree on the 4-hour. So the 4-hour does not have a clean corrective structure, neither does it have a trade. Let's look on the 1 hour. 1 hour just had a trade here. 1 hour just had a trade set up here. This at the top. This has just confirmed downside. You can actually enter this from here. The only tricky part about this, it's a bit late because you're very close to the boundary and you may get this one starting to bounce around these levels before it goes. So you need to make a decision if you'll be able to manage that or if you want to take a chance and see if it's going to continue to the downside. So that is the only challenge with that. Pound Chief still pushing lower. 1 hour correction entry on the 1 hour. Always risky to take it after such a big move. Okay, but this is a 1 hour continuation pattern that has confirmed continuation to the downside here on Pound Chief. We're at the top, well below 50. So this is a continuation pattern. Do we have divergence at the bottom? There's no divergence, so this one should continue to the downside. Okay, so that is a Pound Chief. Let's go to the higher degree here on Pound Chief. It's already made such a big impulse. Very risky to take it without a decent correction. But the 1 hour correction, you can see it's already giving us an entry here. So we should see this one continue to the downside. All right, that is Pound Chief. Let's scan through this. We've essentially just gone through all the pound pairs. Let's just do complete them. So Pound CAD has been stubborn, and we've been looking for this one to drop from when it made this move here. We've been looking for a continuation to the downside, but it has since just gone sideways. It has just gone sideways. Right, so let's see here on the indicators. We are looking at this. Is this a flag here? Does not look like a decent corrective structure though. We're looking at this as a three-wave structure. Can make a case of a zigzag on this one that is now confirmed further downside on the daily. So Pound CAD should continue now to the downside. It's actually a nice one now. Let's see if we've got a decent, the daily has got a setup for downside. Let's see if the 4 hour is confirming accordingly. Nothing on the 4 hour. So there's still this possibility that I showed yesterday that we can have this and this one doing that. We already have that move. This bouncing up here before we drop. As you can see, they don't make it obvious, so we can get that bounce and then we get the drop here. Let's see if on the 1 hour. 4 hour does not have a setup, but what about the 1 hour? 1 hour has a setup. So look for this on the 1 hour. It's not a clean flag though. That is the flag that we're looking at. We're at the top and we are below 50. So the 1 hour has got a setup for downside. So let's get a clear candle closing below this flag like this. Then we'll start looking for downside. That is Pound CAD. Euro, US dollar. Euro, US dollar 1 hour, we're going to see a pullback. We've made this move. We made these three waves. So Euro, US dollar, we're going to see this. This pullback should be a nice continuation pattern for further upside. So this, I'll be interested in taking Euro for a continuation to the upside if it does give us that structure. We already have the structure here as follows on the Euro. So we already have this. We already have the impulse. Now we're looking for a corrective structure here. If we do get that, then I'll be interested to take it to the 50%. That's where this is coming from the three waves here. Then upside. DXY is similar, it's the inverse of that. Has made three waves up and now we're starting to get the drop. So that means the US dollar is starting to show the weakness again. We've already dropped below that area and we're looking for this one to continue lower. Let's check 4 and 1 hour. 4 hour. 4 hour well below 50 and has already reset at the top again. So that means continuation to the downside. So the DXY will continue to the downside. That may invalidate our Audi trade, but let's keep an eye on it. Or the Audi may be going with gold, correlated with gold. So let's see how this goes. Whichever one confirms, we'll look for this here. Okay, so that's what we have on the DXY. We should see continuation to the downside, and then the euro continue to the upside. Let's go to the 1 hour. So just like the euro may actually be clearly correlated here, in that we may have this pullback, and that pullback will be the drop we're looking for on the Audi. Then we get the drop, and then the Audi should resume its move to the upside. We're gonna have to monitor this. All right, so that is what we're looking at on the US dollar pairs. Pound US dollar is still dropping as expected. We're looking for this one to drop. We're looking for this to drop. We just missed this 1 hour candle dropping right now. We just missed it. So that was showing us continuation to the downside with this flag here. Look at that, look at that. So this should still continue to the downside. We are looking for this to go around the 100%. So it's going as it should. We are looking for it. We are targeting 35444. That is about 200 pips on pound. And this is an entry here on the 1 hour. We're looking for this leg here. Okay. That's what we're looking at on the pound. This is actually a corrective structure, very nice corrective structure here if you look at it. On the pound, we just missed this an hour ago. This one confirmed. That's what we have there. Looks like a running flat. We've got to move down. We're looking for this to continue to the downside. We're already on the 1 hour. US dollar chief. US dollar chief. Can we get that? And continuation to the downside. Similar to what we heard here. And continuation to the downside. So while these moves are happening, the pullbacks on the US dollar and where the US dollar is the base pair, that's where you can be getting the pound moves to be dropping. So while this is pulling back, the pound pair could be dropping, this drop here. So this drop, let's do this. So this drop on pound is this upside on this correction here. That's what we have there. I'm trying to look for the correlation there, because we're seeing the DXY as a pullback and then downside. So should be the inverse of what the US dollar pairs are doing. US dollar CAD keeps pushing up higher. And it looks like we've got a setup for upside on the 1 hour. So if we get this closing above this boundary, that is a continuation pattern for upside. Okay, it's a nice entry. If this one closes above the flag, we're looking to take it up higher, and we will be looking to target around this level. We'll be looking for this before the drop. So as I've said, this is a risky trade, but the 1 hour has got a setup, very nice setup for upside. Let's see what the 4 and the daily are telling us. 4 hour, obviously not confirming as yet, but we've got a corrective structure there on the 1 hour. Nothing, no trade on the 4 hour. Let's check the daily. The 4 hour is nice and above 50. The daily, well above 50, but we want to see this one stay here if this is going to make a push to the upside around these levels. So if we get a trade set up here at current levels, be looking to take it there at about 27. That's about 150 pips. We've already gone through Audi and New Zealand, right? Yes, we have. Okay, so Audi still looks like it's going to push lower. Let's look at some pound pairs. So our overall target here has been 156. So let's see if we're going to get this one to do that and then upside. Let's check the indicators here. The daily looks like it's about to dip below 50. If it starts doing that, then we're going to start looking for trades to the downside. Then we are able to trade to the downside. As long as the daily is above 50, we do not take any opposite trades. That means if this is a trend, you will see that the daily, let's just look at this trend, where this trend starts. If you look at the way that trend starts, let's just identify where the trend starts. This trade here, where it starts, from where it starts, you never dip, we are never below 50. Yes, we've got these dips below 50, but as soon as you've got those dips below 50, it keeps pushing up higher. So the RSI stays above 50. If it starts dipping below 50, that means that trend is now being invalidated and we can start looking. We are able to trade this in the opposite direction if the daily has confirmed downside by dipping below 50. So we'll be monitoring that. Same as US dollar, it's also making a move to the downside on the daily after an impulse, but the daily is still well above 50. So US dollar is still showing a bit of strength here, but we'll be looking for this one to come to around the 38% or the 50-61% area of this. Euro. Euro, there's no momentum. So this is a trade setup. So this is a trade setup on the euro. What do I mean by no momentum? Look at what is happening with the euro. We made a new high here. The indicator confirmed. Now, here was sort of a new high that did not confirm either on price and then also on the RSI. So that it looks like a very strong divergence. So euro should come back to around these levels. Or if that is the case, we may find that the euro has ended its move to the upside as follows. So look to take a trade here on the euro because we have 1, 2, and this could be a 3, and that is done here. Right? But we still expect this move to continue higher. So how would it continue to the upside if we are looking for downside at current levels? This gives us a correction, which is currently what's happening now before resuming up higher. So that is a trade setup on the euro. Let's go look on the 4-hour to see if we are getting an entry. No entry on the 4-hour. It's just dipping below 50. Let's look at the 1 hour. So you'll look for this on the 1 hour to give you a bit of a pullback. No trade setup. Still just a single move so far. We'll look for any move that gives us an entry for downside. Chief yen will be the same, obviously, but there's no trade setup. There's no trade setup for downside. Let's go to the daily on CAD yen. So guys, let me refresh my browser here. Let's have a look here. Chief Yen, there's this move here. We should get a pullback here. That's why we're selling the euro as well. We'll look for a sell setup on the euro. And just go back one up on the euro again. There's no necessarily a trade setup right now, except that it's breaking this structure. So we'll be looking for this one to drop here. Watch it, and that is the setup on the website as well. We'll be looking for that to push to the downside. Same as Chief, same as CAD. Now CAD, watch CAD as it comes to around this level, because this may be a continuation pattern for an upside here on CAD yen. So New Zealand has already started a move to the upside. We were looking for this one to push up higher, looking at this as a continuation pattern. It looks like we're getting a pullback here. Let's watch this pullback. Is this the pullback that's going to do this and then upside? There's no trade set up there. There's no trade set up there on New Zealand yen. Neither is one or Audi. Audi is going to drop. We're already selling Audi US dollar. We're expecting this one to continue to the downside. We were looking for this to continue to the upside with this corrective structure. With this, that's why I was looking for this move that has come here, and we're looking for this one to continue to the upside. So let's watch for that. There's no trade setup right now on that. Gold, pretty messy structure, but it's supporting upside from current levels. The correction is not as clean as we want it to be, but this is now at the bottom. The RSI is staying above 50, so gold should push up higher. Remember, the focus that we have on our side was for one more down before we push to the upside. Either way, we are at the end of the cycle here. Check out the blog on the website as well. So this is what we're looking at on gold. So the RSI is staying above 50, so that is supporting strength on to the upside. Let's go silver as well. Silver also staying above 50. Looks like a three-wave structure though. Let's see if we can get this one to do that. No trade setup on silver. Let's go to the cryptos. Nothing has changed on the indices, guys. We're still on the upside. Correcting for more upside again. So I'm not going to go through in detail on this. As I've said, there will be detailed analysis on the pairs, specific pairs. Let's check for trade setups of the cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, we have got what looks like a three-wave structure here. This structure can only be confirmed if we break above this. If we close above this, then we'll look for this one to go retest the top here. But what is happening here is we are going sideways. And the indicator on the 4 hour is there's no setup. Let's check the 1 hour. The 1 hour is showing us continuation to the downside. So Bitcoin will continue to the downside from this. And then we'll see this continue to the downside. So we are going to get a pullback there on Bitcoin. Same as Ethereum has made a three-way pullback, should continue lower from current levels as follows. When the trade setups confirm, we'll look for them. But remember, we don't like selling the cryptos, so we're only looking for upside currently. But if you are a trader, you can trade this to the downside as follows. Litecoin, 1 hour, you can see all the 1 hour structures are showing us downside, although not aggressive, because this can be a downside that we're seeing on the other side, then it makes a bounce before it drops. And then Ripple, also showing us continuation to the downside. So we are going to see a pullback on the cryptos here. How far will they go? That we'll see as it goes. For now, what we're going to do is we are going to target the same move as that. So our target is going to be that. That is actually at the boundary of this correction. That's all for today, guys. I'll look out for the next webinar at 1300 GMT. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.